This is not the decade you are looking for. Good day, people of the blockchain world, decentralized, centralized, spewing IPFS node system of the internet. It's 12:26 on the 31st of December 2019, the last day of this decade. I don't see this as, I just see it as a normal Tuesday, right? But I don't see this as a normal year just rolling over. I kind of see this as a brand new decade. I remember when I was in my teens, I used to read books and magazines and sci-fi comics and think of 2020 and 2030 and 2040 as these like futuristic hover cars and just futuristic, And now when I look back, I realize that I didn't give a shit how all of that stuff worked. I just loved the idea of it. I love the visuals of it. I love the noises of it. All that simulated noise of a hover thing. And I remember seeing Star Wars and the land speeder and that blurring underneath, which now I know was like Vaseline on film to have this hover effect. It's funny how when you grow older, you learn the background to how something works, and when you know, all the mysteries removed from it. And for me, like, transitioning into New Year's as a ground sign is like a fresh energy wave. I feel like this just, internal thing that just bubbles up that makes me want to like sprint into that new year. But new decades, 2020, it just feels different. Just feels well different. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people out there are probably hurting or in pain or in worry. Or me, as like I said earlier, ground sign, I do feel very connected to the earth in terms of the climate issues, and just the fact that all the money that we were told in the 80s was going into infrastructure has just fucking magically disappeared, and those people who used to command it have disappeared with it. I don't know. It's very easy to be disillusional, illusionist about the future, but I'm confident that if we can actually realize how blessed we are as a species to have won the fucking lottery of life, regardless of our ethics and our religions and the good and the bad that happens in the world, we still have this fucking planet, and it's a fluke. It's a fucking fluke. We have a fucking moon that deals with, like, if we didn't have a moon, if we didn't have a sun, we have all these things that line up for us to exist on this planet, and yet we still treat each other like we do. So I'm kind of confident, mainly because I feel going into a new decade is a reset. I feel like it's a blank slate. It's an opportunity to do things a little bit differently. To look back at the last 10 years and be like, what did I achieve? What did I not achieve? What did I trick myself I was going to do and I didn't do? Who's around me that I love? How am I sharing love? Am I doing that to the best of my ability? Do I need to retrain? Do I need to learn new things? Do I need to be more compassionate out there in the world? Do I need to do things? Do I need to stand by the things that I talk about? So for me, it's kind of bittersweet, but I'm here. And so I wrote this like crazy ass like mind fart post this morning and put it out. I hope everybody has a good transition into the new decade. 2020 feels big to me. Like, I remember in 2015 when I was going to a lot of co-working spaces, and it was kind of a big deal because we'd had all this EU money pumped into our country, and we had all this match funding, and it was all to do with projects that were going to be realized in 2020. And I do hope that a lot of those projects are realized. I hope we'll see some of those things that have been 5 years in development come to fruition this year, and people can look up and be like, oh, so it wasn't all bad. Especially for people in the UK over the last 3 years with all the Brexit stuff, it's just felt very flat. So I do hope there is like spectacles of change or beacons of change this year that we can like get behind and start having real big deeper conversations about money and greed and wealth and distribution, because we're incredibly lucky here on a blockchain, right? This blockchain, Steam, and all the other blockchains that I've just started to use, like OST with Peppo, like, we're incredibly lucky to have our hands on this technology so early, because it's going to be technology that everybody's going to be using and not realizing they're using probably half the time. So I feel very blessed that I get the opportunity to play with these things and to watch your videos and listen to the things that concern you, or, you know, transition with you as you go through your life as well. So that's all I wanted to say. Just have a safe one out there, and happy new year, happy new decade, and I'll see you in 2020. All the best.
Drifting slowly into an empty space.